Good evening, everybody. This virtual meeting of the City of Kingston Zoning Board of Appeals will now come to order. It is 6:07. My name is Brian Cafferty, and I'll be chairing this proceeding. I will take a moment to explain how the Zoning Board of Appeals functions. The board is comprised of 5 members and 2 alternates. We have been appointed to serve the citizens of the City of Kingston. We perform this service to the best of our abilities on a volunteer, unpaid basis. The other board members are, and can you introduce yourself? Anthony, go ahead.
Anthony Tampone.
Donna,
Anna Martin.
Mary,
Mary Newbauer.
Ari,
Ari Goldstein.
and Anthony did it. You already did that. Okay. So there will be a period of public comment this evening after each variance request has been presented. This period is an opportunity for individuals to make a statement of opinion, not to engage in debate. Speaker must state their name and address for the record. Speakers must be brief and to the point and to allow everyone to speak. Speakers must address the board as a whole, not individual members, and not other speakers or audience members. A professional decorum is expected. I'm going to open the meeting. First order of business would be to approve the minutes from the last meeting. Do I
I
have
move to approve.
Okay, that was Mary.
I'll second.
Okay.
Who made the motion for the minutes?
I did.
Mary.
And I second.
Okay. One thing I hate about these Zoom meetings is that it's hard to see things on the screen with the agendas and what have you.
Yeah, you gotta keep your laptop next to you. It's the only way to make it work.
It's really frustrating.
Dual screens.
Okay. So I have a question about this application. The first order new business is 4145 Ravine Street. The applicant is looking to put a shed on a vacant parcel, which is adjacent to their property where they own their home, but it is a separate vacant parcel. I chatted briefly with Eric before the meeting, and I was just a little confused as to whether this is an area variance or a use variance, being that it's not legal to put a building on a vacant lot, an accessory building on a vacant lot. And I just wanted to see what the other board members thought, and perhaps maybe what Matt thinks. Is this a use variance or is this an area variance?
You're asking me at this point, it would seem that it's couched as an area variance since the use is not permitted and you guys are going to allow it to be used, and that would be how I interpret. Eric, is that when you guys?
Yes, I interpret that as, yeah, we've done several of these in the past and over the years and that I've been here, and they've all been fall under area variance.
Okay.
But I do see where Brian's confusion is, because we're really not changing the use of the property, because you could still build a 1-family or 2-family or whatever home on the property with the shed. So, I can see where the confusion comes in, but we've always called it an area variance. It abuts the main dwelling, the main property of the owner. It's a secondary property.
Okay. In this particular case, the owners of both parcels, which are adjacent to one another, don't have an interest in merging property lines. So that's what gives rise to the area variance.
Well, Ms. Doobie's here if you want her to speak or whatever.
I do. I was just about to recognize her. If you wouldn't mind unmuting your mic and just give us a little bit of rundown on what it is that you would like to do.
Sure. Good evening, everyone.
Okay.
We just want to put up basically a storage shed for lawnmower, weed whacker, that kind of thing, and a lumber rack. That really dictates the size. That's about it.
And what currently is the property? It's just a vacant lot. It's what, just a garden lot for the most part, trees and shrubs and what have you?
Yeah, it's directly adjacent to our house. We got it in 2017 and we've spent that time rehabbing it. It was overgrown and had construction debris in it, so that's taken some time. So it's pretty much just lawn and some fruit trees right now. And like Eric said, the front of the lot is big enough to put a structure on, and that kind of dictated the placement of the storage shed because we wanted to preserve that use in the future if we choose to do so.
Okay, and because I didn't have a chance to go down and look at this and research it, I just being that we're putting this on a vacant lot and there's no restrictions as to really where it can go other than the anticipation of a home, it does meet all the front,
Setbacks.
side yard, backyard setbacks, correct?
Correct.
Okay, good.
Right,
That's all the
Catherine?
ques- That's all the questions I have.
There's looks like a foundation there. Is that a foundation or is that like a garden? It was snow covered when I looked at it.
That's the site, basically.
Okay,
where we wanna put it.
That's where the shed's gonna go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody else have any questions?
No.
Board members, I mean?
No.
Okay, is there anybody that is currently here as a guest in the public that would like to speak to this issue? This application? No? Okay, so do we have a motion to approve or not approve this application?
I have one question that maybe Matt can answer. If there's not any existing unit on a parcel, is an accessory dwelling allowed as it is written? Because a garden house or a tool house is permitted in this zoning as an accessory use. But if that's the only parcel, if that's the only structure on the property, does
Correct,
that still
that's-
count?
Right. That's why they have to get the variance.
Right.
So they would also need a special use, they'd
No,
also need a special use permit from the planning board.
I don't believe so.
Mm,
Well, that's what it says in the zoning.
well,
I
I'm
mean,
conf-
so anybody that puts a shed up would need one then, right?
In an RT zone at least, yeah.
May I?
Okay, What zoning section are you looking at so I can pull it up?
This is RT, right? This is an RT lot,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, you weren't very clear on that, Anthony. I just was having a hard time following you. What do you say?
So under, in RT, it says that a garden house or tool house, playhouse, greenhouse, swimming pool is a permitted accessory use for a structure. So if there's no
That's
structure,
provided there's a structure,
yeah, that's what I'm asking.
right?
Yeah.
And there is no structure here, which is why it's coming before us as an area variance.
Correct.
Okay, I mean, that's why I was going back to your initial question, Brian, on why it wasn't a use variance.
Yeah, it's a little fuzzy, but I
It's
think
not,
we're-
it's not an accessory structure unto
Right.
itself.
it's not an accessory structure. It's just
It's a
a structure
structure.
on a vacant lot because there is no attending house.
Yeah. I make no argument to whether or not we should permit it. I'm just wondering whether or not the code as it's written permits it. That's the question.
But it says accessory uses are limited to. You can't have an accessory use that doesn't have a main structure.
Doesn't have a house that's accessory too.
Okay, so then and then if you're looking at primary uses, that is not listed as a primary use by right, so therefore it wouldn't be allowed at all.
I'll leave that up to the attorney's interpretation.
Which was Brian's initial question.
We've
This is
approved
why-
several of these. I don't, that's the first time it came up.
Yeah, this is why
Yes.
I brought the question up initially, was that, you know,
So
How is-
technically, you're not allowed to have a structure on a vacant piece of land that's not a dwelling unit, and that's why we're here for the variance.
well, in this particular zone, no, I guess. It's a residential zone.
Right, no residential zones are allowed to have just a shed on a vacant piece of property.
Correct. And so is there a provision for them to provide, to request an area variance on this? That's
There
the
is-
question.
Yes,
Okay, then.
in my opinion,
I
I'm
will-
gonna ask Matt, do you want to chime in, but
Yeah,
I
well,
gotta
it
follow
sounds like
precedent
this has been something that has been handled and there's precedent to be handling it as an area variance. I am trying to look at, with the accessory use, there's no structure. On its face, it does look like it would appear to be potentially a use variance. That's what my initial opinion was.
There.
But,
There you go.
considering that is how the city has been handling it previous to this, it might be something worth maybe tabling the vote on this as well, and we can talk in executive session as to how the board would best.
this
go
would bring
about
up,
handling
this
this.
brings up another issue that the variance would carry with the property. Okay, if it's a change of use, does that mean you can never build a structure on the property because it has a shed on it,
Yeah.
It's always been an area variance.
Well, yeah, I don't know how that necessarily,
So
Or
I
I-
think one of two things we can do. We can either try and see if we technologically can go into a executive session at some point tonight, or maybe it might be best for us to have a discussion regarding the whether this is an area variance as opposed to a use variance prior to you guys voting on the actual application.
well, yeah, I think, Matt, your point's well taken. If you wouldn't mind, Catherine, I think what we're gonna do is just table this so that we can clarify this, because it is a little confusing. However, if you would like to go ahead and delete your lot line and merge the two parcels, this
That
would not
would-
be a
that-
problem. But
That would definitely,
but I understand why you wouldn't want to do that. But there it is. So for now, I think I'm gonna request a motion to table.
I'll motion.
I'll
Second.
second.
Is that Mary?
Yes.
Thank you, Mary. So
You're
we're gonna
welcome.
have you back next month after we've had a chance to sort this through. And we're very sorry about the confusion, but it's just it's a little tricky. I was scratching my head before the meeting and I'm still scratching it a little. But best we get it right. So thank you, and we'll see you next month.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So the next item on the
Can I
agenda.
just add one thing to that?
Yeah.
When we're talking about change of use, we're talking about like change of use. The property's not changing use. You see what I'm saying? That's where.
Well, it
There's a-
is changing, it is it could potentially be argued that it's a change of use because you're putting a structure on there that's not a residential structure. It's an accessory structure. And
I think if we've tabled the vote, these are discussions legal discussions that are best done in an executive session, either
Okay.
after we're done with the
Got
applications here or as part of our next meeting.
All right.
Okay. So the next item on the agenda is 188 Fair Street. And I know that everybody's here. I think that after looking at this application, reading all the submissions, having some discussions with various members of the building department, we need to gather some additional information with regard to this request for a variance, because we don't have all the information. And we need to do a little more homework before we can thoroughly go through this application and make a decision. So I'm not even gonna bother opening this agenda item. I'm just gonna ask for a motion to table it until next month, when
A
we can
motion.
be better prepared. All
A
right.
second.
Anthony, you were first.
Yep.
My apologies to the applicants and all other interested parties, but we need some more information before we can hear this application. And who was second on that?
Donna.
All right. And Eric, if you can now,
Yes.
like to go into executive session with Matthew, and if we could,
Should we adjourn the meeting?
I would not adjourn the meeting.
no,
No, just make a motion for
Yeah.
executive session.
Right.
We need to be able to make it so it's just us and everyone else. If you can technologically take care of that, and then we come out of the executive session and then
adjourn.
you adjourn the meeting.
Correct. Is there anybody, should we ask if anybody here wants to speak before we go into executive session or not?
Sure, why not?
I don't know.
But didn't we table both things?
We did.
Yeah.
But in the abundance of open discussion, if somebody's got something to say, by all means, say it. Otherwise, we're going into executive session.
Anybody? I don't hear anybody.
Briefly, I'm here representing Helen Atkinson, who couldn't be here. She's one of the neighbors of the 188.
And you are?
Dean McGee, pardon me.
Hi, Dean.
law
How are
firm
you?
of Cape Coleman. Hi, everyone. Thank you. Good. And I just wanted to make sure that the board had received her submission. Eric, I know
Oh,
we
yeah.
sent it to you. That's all.
We absolutely did.
Yes.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. So at this time, I'm going to ask everybody to leave the meeting. Mercedes, you're still here. Mercedes is gone. Please bear with me a minute, folks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, we're alone. There's 0 attendees in the meeting.
Are you, do we want to stop the recording for executive session or?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, hold on 1 second. Thank you, Anthony.
So it'll all be on YouTube tomorrow.
Hey, Eric,
Go for it.
so we're out of executive session now, and
It's 7:19.
and it's 7:19. I would like to call for a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
A second.
Don't all
Mary,
jump at once.
who was seconding that?
I second
A
it,
second.
or whoever. Me or Ari, doesn't matter.
Anthony. Okay, well, thank you all for your time. We just set a record for an agenda had 2 items. It's the longest 2-item agenda meeting I've ever had. Anyhow. Thanks. By the way, I chairing these meetings gives a whole nother dimension to this experience. And it makes me want to say to all of you, especially, well, everybody, including the folks that work with the city, the building department, which have difficult jobs. Thank you, because this is not easy stuff, and it's a lot to deal with, and I really appreciate you guys taking your time to do this. So,
Thank you.
We thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
all right, everybody, have a good night.
You too.
You
Right.
too.
Okay. See you in person next month.
See you in see you in person in a month.
I'll get those photos over to the board. Thank you.
All
Thank
right,
you.
take care.
Thank
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.